I got a question.
Yeah.
Here, render is a function that we
It's a method.
Method
Yeah.
we do, or it's already in React.
We create it, and React will call it for us. Because when we say, for example, hello world here, when we create this component, React will take this component and call its render method to get the HTML. So React is calling the render for us.
Okay. But we are not passing any arguments.
No, we are not. Until now, we are not.
But while calling, we are doing that.
We are not passing anything here. We're just saying hello message.
Here, React DOM render.
No, if you're asking render is a function.
Oh, you mean this one? You mean this render, not this render? Which render you are talking about?
Both are not same?
No.
Okay.
This render is by React DOM.
Okay.
And it's responsible for taking React components and converting them to real DOM browser stuff.
Okay, I thought we are calling render method from here.
No, this render is different thing. This render is a convention between you and React to say, React will say, it's like saying, put something there and I will come in the night and take it. So you put it there and someone will come in the night and take it. So it's like a convention between two people.
Okay.
So this render, it's a convention between React and you. React will say, put what you want to show in the render. And I will go and take it from the render. It's a convention.
So basically if we put this codes, the HTML codes, with the diff and h1 out of the render, it won't work.
No, because you need to define it inside the render.
Yes.
It's like rendering. This is like, it's like plain English. So React will, so you are like signaling to React, come here to, or React is telling you, if you want to show something, put it here. If you put it anywhere else, it's not the job of React to find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like React is telling you, up front, put it there. If you don't put it there, it's not my problem. So you need to put it here so we can render it. And this render is by React DOM to actually convert these stuff with create element that we saw before to real concrete P and stuff in the browser, H1, H2, and 3. Clear?
Yeah.
So now we can talk about something else, which is, just a second. I am. I've started recording. So we are clear now how to create components, and you can keep creating more components and putting components inside other components and like. So this is clear, but something really crucial that we need now is in HTML. So for example here we have like we can pass an ID. For example, so we can pass each attribute to a DOM element, to P and like the HTML tag. We can do the same thing with React components. We can pass attributes, but we call it props instead of attributes. Props means properties. It's just a shorthand for properties, props. Okay? So properties are attributes. Attributes are properties. But in the context of React, we call them properties. But properties doesn't mean anything special. It's just attributes. It's like ID and stuff. Okay? So here in this component, let's say this component, I want to put here a name. Instead of hello Yunus, I want to print two names here. This will print hello Yunus and this will print hello someone else. You can put, for example, we are putting an H3 here. You can say like HTML.
Is it possible to write JavaScript code to create elements?
Yeah, now you are defeating. So why we are using React from the beginning? If we want to use the, you know what I mean? It's like if you adopt React and you use at the same time create element, you'll have like a beast of code. Like it's really weird. You know what I mean? So you need to stick one of the conventions. You can do create element. For example, here we are saying get element by ID and stuff. But if you want to keep creating stuff using the normal JavaScript, create element and append child and stuff, there is no purpose in using React. You know what I mean? Because React was meant. It's like, I don't know. It's like driving car. It's like buying car but not driving it. Like you buy it and it's like you just look at it and you walk. You know, like why? You get the idea?
Something necessary to create during the, for example, when you fetch some information from the website. You want to automatically create some elements on it.
We will see that we can do that with map and filter. So we can have an array, and with the array, we can create different components. Use it in an array, like it's JavaScript. So we are using JavaScript, but we need to change our mindset. Instead of doing it imperatively, we do it using the React way. But of course now it seems a bit like weird, but as we are going along, we will build really dynamic stuff. And you will see that we will be able to do anything you can do with React, you can do with JavaScript, and anything you can do with JavaScript, you can do with React. Well, React is JavaScript, but the React way. When I say React, I mean the React way, but it's JavaScript at the end. So let's say we have hello message, and hello message, I want to give it a name. Okay? So it's like an attribute, like class and ID. I will just type a name here. Okay? And usually I do this. You say equal because you want to put JavaScript inside it. And you put a name here. So let's say here we put Yunus. What's your name, Natalia? Is it like right like this?
Yeah.
Cool. So we have two components. Now we want to show hello Yunus, hello Natalia, or hello Natalia Yunus. It doesn't matter. So we are passing properties or props to this component. Okay. So we want to consume the props inside this component. So inside this component, we want to get these props. This is the idea. The way we do it is in React, all the props that you pass here, because it's if you have many props, for example, if you have v equal t5, let's say, okay, these two props will be an object. It will be an object with key is name and value is Natalia. Key is v and value is 5. Okay, so they will be all put in an object. And this object will be provided by you in this .props. So this refers to the class instance. You all remember that, this.
Yeah.
So when you say this .props, it gives you the properties that was passed to this component. So if we console.log this .props, you can see here it's an object with name Natalia and v5. And the second one is an object because we rendered twice. We have two components. Name is Yunus and there is no v. So there is no v in the object. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So all the properties that you pass here will be provided to you in something called this.props. This refers to the class, which is, this means like me, .props. Make sense?
Yes.
So we are good. So if you say this.props.name, it will give you either Natalia or Yunus, depends. So we will take this and we put it instead of Yunus here. We want JavaScript here because I can put this like this, but it will be this.props.name. You know what I mean? But I need to say this is JavaScript. Run it as JavaScript. And now we have hello Natalia, hello Yunus. Is it clear? No questions? You should be confused.
Then if you want to do that for v2, then you have to do
This.props.v. .v, yeah. So anything you can access like an object, they will be all aggregated in an object. Make sense? I can do it in a better way. I can use destructuring, so I can put this in an so I can say const name equal and put name here. More JavaScript. This is nothing to do with React. But I can go one step further and use destructuring. I don't know if you are familiar with destructuring. What does it mean? You destructure an object? No? Destructuring? So destructuring means instead of writing this, you can say const, you provide an object. So an object, it will be here, not here. It will be on the left side. And you say this dot props. So this dot props is an object. You want to get name from it. You do this. So you want to destructure something from an object, which is better. Because if you want v, you can say v. It's like you have an object and you take stuff from it.
Okay.
You destructure it. It's like destructuring. What?
How do you call it object name? Object key is name and v. Am I right? Oh, okay.
Object what?
This is the object, right? Const.
This is the object.
Okay, you assign to do.
I'm destructuring from it. I'm getting stuff from inside it.
But why do we need it if we can still use?
Because if you have like large objects, you don't want to create a variable for name and v. You can easily destruct stuff from it.
How you will get it?
You are getting name from here, because this is an object.
If you would like to use ground, for instance,
This is
inside
n-
of the H1 tag.
This is name. It's here.
It's just confusing the core purpose.
Yeah, because like it's like this is an object. This is an object. Open the object and take name from it. This is how you should get it.
No, I understand.
So now name.
It's like this is an object. This is and this are the same. So you open this object here and you take stuff from it, and they will be variables.
The key of the
So there is nothing special. It's just getting stuff from inside a variable, an object.
So now instead of using this dot props dot name, we can
Every
write
time
it-
we can just like get the name and the v.
So we're saying that it's the same as writing name equals this dot prop dot
Yeah.
name, and then v equals this dot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
prop dot v.
Instead of taking it manually, you are declaratively. Remember, declaratively. And JavaScript will do it for you. And if we can go, like, remember what we discussed about Babel? If you put this here, you get the idea? We have props, it's an object, and JavaScript will do it for you. JavaScript will say props.name, props.v, and declare a variable for each one of them.
So this is a JavaScript thing, not React thing.
It's JavaScript thing. React doesn't add any syntax or anything.
Yeah, okay.
React doesn't have anything special. React only gives you a component. This is the only thing that React gives you. Is this clear?
Yes.
So instead of like doing it by hand, like props.name, props.v, you just like give me name and v. And the crazy thing is like if name, it's an object. Let's say name has first. First is just 1, 2, 3. It's like your name is 1, 2, 3. So name now is an object. We are getting name from props. So props is an object and name is an object. So we are getting an object. So if we console.log name, it will be an object. You agree?
Yeah.
So if I want first, instead of doing name dot first, I can do the same thing. I can say const first
Props.name.
equal name. No, because I already have name
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Or I can go even more crazy and take literally this and put it inside name. So from name, I want to take first inside it. So really going inside.
In this case, you are declaring the name on its own and the first inside
Yes.
the name.
Yes.
So, okay.
So because name, there is first inside name.
Yeah.
So I want in props, I want to access name and I want to access first.
Okay. Okay. That's crazy. But yeah.
But it's really powerful how you
Yeah,
can actually
yeah.
distract them and just go inside and like out. If you want to do it with like you need to say first dot name, so- but with this one you can just go.
Yes. So,
Clear? It's called destructuring. You destructure the object. You destructure the object. Are we good?
Yes.
So this won't work without the React.
No, it's not. It's nothing to have with React. It's like a class or something.
So
React. Just
we can use
let's
it-
agree about something. React doesn't give you anything extra on JavaScript. React only gives you a component and some stuff like that. It only gives you some functions, but React doesn't change JavaScript itself.
So we could have used this from before.
For example, you can use it in the browser. You can use, for example, here like this. You can use props.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you can after that do this. And first will be 1, 2, 3. It's nothing to do with React.
Yeah.
It's just a browser thing. It's JavaScript thing. It's distract-free. Cool?
Yes.
So this is a shorthand. And it's really handy, as we said, if you have really deep objects. You can go inside it straight away instead of like doing it manually. It's just like it doesn't change anything. It only saves you some keystone. It just you don't need to type a lot. Are we good? So this is how you actually parameterize components. If you have one component and you want to actually render different components, for example, if you have video and you want the video, for example, the video item, the first one and the second one, to render different videos, you just pass different props to it. So props is a way to actually render different things in a component,
And you will have only one method.
which is render.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can create other methods, but these methods are not special. It's just like object oriented. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just a class. You can create more methods, but they are not special to React. We will see in upcoming weeks.
But I mean, like, you will create like one method
To render. Yes, that's
to do the video.
yes. You need just one method, which is the render, to display the stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only method needed to display the stuff, and it's only one that you need. Cool. No question about props. So if you see it clearly here, props is a way. So I can go here. I can say const names equal. So let's copy this, Yunus and Natalia. Okay, I can go here and say names of 0. Just remember, it's just JavaScript. There's nothing special here. Okay? We can go even one step further and render it dynamically based on the array. So I can have here, I can have a map that transform names into hello messages. So I can map. So I can say here, so I need to write JavaScript, so I put it like this. This is the phase that we agree about. And I can say here, names dot map. It takes a function with the name, and it's auto return. It will return automatically. Remember, arrow function will, if you will not provide curly braces, it will return automatically. So I will copy this straight away and put it here and put name here. So we can remove the first one. This is JavaScript. You can see that. What?
Why not for each?
Because for each will not return anything. For each only loop throw stuff. But now we are returning messages.
Not assigning anything.
We are returning them because the result of this, what this gonna return?
This is render.
Now forget about React. Names.map.
And
Name,
modified.
It will return an array of hello messages.
Yes.
You agree?
Yeah.
Forget about React.
Okay, I'm saying
Because the map will build another array.
we don't need to return. I mean, we are rendering something.
Yeah, but we need to, because if this will not return anything, it will not be placed here. You know what I mean? It's like when you have a function that does some calculation and doesn't return. The calculation is gone. So you can actually build hello messages, but to show them to the screen, you need to return them. So you can put them here. You get the idea? No?
Maybe later.
It's so the way, for example, the way we are doing it here. The way we were doing it here.
Yeah, I know, I understood the methodology, but
Because if you will not return, so there is two things that you are confused about. There is rendering stuff inside here. So if you render this here, that doesn't guarantee that it will be shown in this screen. To guarantee that it will be shown in the screen, you need to put it inside the render and picked up by React. It's like this one here, up. Because I'm putting up here, that it's showing. And up it will go here, it will render this, and render this return, and going on. So, because I can do this, for example, I can do the const message. That will not print this message. If I will type here test, this message will not be printed in the screen because it's not returned. You get the idea? So rendering component doesn't mean anything. Returning it means a lot of stuff.
because it's the function is the return.
Exactly. What you return would be picked up by React.
Function is
So it's just think about it like a calculation, like 1 plus b or something. This is the idea. So you can render stuff dynamically based on that. Clear? Clear or bit? Cool. So this is we discussed component, we discussed props, and we are discussing now dynamic rendering. And how we do dynamic rendering is just JavaScript. You map. I can filter and say don't include the names that start with A, and after that map over it. So if you have a functionality to filter in your app, you can just do it with the filter. It doesn't have anything to do special with React.
Yeah.
React will not say, oh, if you want to filter, do it this way. If you want to show a list, do it this way. No. This is the power of React, which is just JavaScript. It's a power, at the same time, it's a bit of a hassle.
So now what you are saying is that React is only the two statements up and down.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
You declare the.
After that, it's you play with React. After that, you are rendering, waiting. This is the idea. But React doesn't alter anything in terms of JavaScript. You will see after when we go advanced, even when we do HTTP request, we do HTTP request like you are working with the Ajax, like without anything. You do your fetch, you get a promise, you say it then, you get your data, and you map over the data here. But React doesn't enforce anything. Clear? Let's move on to something else. So now we know how to render stuff dynamically. Let's say I want to render, if the list is empty, I want to render, we don't have any names. And if it's full, we render the list. Cool? You get the idea? So the way we do it is, you are all familiar with ternary operator. Ternary operator. Okay, it's this one. It's this one. Okay, we can do it here. It's this one. So the code is here. If someone wants to check out it. Yeah, so what does ternary, so you can say if x, or so let's say const x equal true. Okay, if x return, not return, but do 1. Okay, else do 2. Make sense? Yeah. The only issue with the if else, so this is a simple if else. The issue with the if else, sometimes it's a bit of a hassle to work with it. It's because it doesn't return anything. So for example, I have like a, so let's say it's like, let's say we have a boolean called is allowed, okay, and we have, so we have let is allowed, and we have let age. let's say age is, I don't know, 17. We say if age is less than 17, you are not allowed to drive. Else, you are allowed. So I would say is allowed, true, false, sorry, is allowed equal true. Simple. And we print. With ternary, what you can do, because the problem here is like you mentioned the variable inside it and stuff, because you cannot return anything. With ternary, you can say, for example, const is allowed. It's allowed to. Let's name it is allowed to. Okay? And you can say age is less than 17. Question mark. What you want is false. Colon? True. What does it mean? If this is true, return this. If this is false, return this. This is the ternary operator. Is it clear?
Yeah, I know it.
Awesome. That's
I don't know
even.
the name of it.
It's why it's called ternary, because there is like a unary means. So for example, plus, when you say plus 5, which is the number plus 5, or for example this one, not 4 or not true,
Yeah.
this is unary operator. It means only applied to one item, one thing. Not true.
Yeah.
You cannot say not true true or true true not true, like the plus.
Yeah.
This is called inary because there is binary, means it's true. For example, plus is binary, and is binary. You need something and something. There is ternary, which is 3. So you have 3 things here. So this is why it's called ternary. 3, ternary. So inary, binary, ternary. I think quadruple. I don't know 4 how does it called. It's like I'm sorry, English is not my second language. It's my third language. So I'm sorry. So yeah, good. So here, what we can say is, if names dot length is less than 1, or if it's more than 0, do this. Otherwise, we say we do a P. No, we are working with browser. No. So we can say no names. Okay. So if we empty this array, I said empty it, not break the program. We say no names. And if we put stuff, we say we have names. Good to go? Again, it's just JavaScript. We are not doing anything React specific here. Array.length. There is nothing to check if the array, like in other frameworks, to check if the array is empty. We need like a function from the framework. Here, just like if length is super than 0, and you know, like it's just JavaScript. So you can see here, if length is more than 0, which is 1 or 2 or 3, we render this. Otherwise, we render this.
If you do it without the React, it will take you like 1 hour, half hour to do it.
Yeah, because as remember what we said before, it's like the piano or something.
Yeah.
React is abstracting stuff for you. So you only say, oh, render this, don't render this, render this, put this. So this is the idea. Cool? Questions? No? Questions. Cool. We are already done we're almost done with React. We are only missing one thing, which is state. That's the only thing we are missing. Yes. We're missing one thing. And for the 4 weeks, we will keep like trying to understand the React way and building real stuff with React and how we build it. This is the challenge.
React professional.
Yeah. So you can go and build what you want instead of me showing you how to build it. You know what I mean? You will be independent in your. This is the idea.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, you will be like in 4 weeks. You will be like the others. They are building their own project, for example, the final. No rush.
No rush.
Good. If you have any questions, please ask.
For sure.
Please ask. Like, don't hesitate.
Just us.
Okay, I trust you, but not the others. No one is. You should not talk for the others. So we are good. So basically now we know how to render stuff with React and do conditions and things. One thing you should focus on is props is a way to actually communicate. It's a communication channel between a parent and a child. Because the parent is passing some information to a child. Is this clear? Can you see that here? That this parent has some information and passing the information to the children. And the children are picking the information. Is it clear that there is a parent-child communication? This is really important. Is it fine to reason about props this way? Props are a way to communicate between. So the child cannot send props to the parent. The child cannot communicate with the parent. Only the parent can send information down. But the child cannot send information up. If we have something here, x equal 5, I cannot send it to up because it's down. Exactly, it's like genetics. You cannot like produce your father. Your father will produce you. You cannot like, exactly. It's like really like, this is why we are saying parent-child. So the child cannot communicate with the parent. You need permission. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Literally, you cannot. And this is what we call in React one data flow. It's the data flows in one way, not in two ways. There is no down and up. There is only down. You should memorize this really well because it's really important. Which is like unidirectional data flow. The data flow will go just one direction, not the other direction. Not like so many other frameworks, they follow the bidirectional ways. So the parent can communicate with the child and the child can communicate with the parent. But in React, no. Only the parent give information to the child. We will see after how the child can communicate with the parent, but it will still in one data flow. We will just try to hack it. Make sense?
So can you just say again how is it with the X?
Yeah, the X here is inside the hello message.
Yes.
So technically the hello message is the child of the app.
Yeah.
So it's under the app. So this component cannot go one step up and give it to the app. X cannot go to app.
Okay. But if X in the app.
You can give it to hello message. Like names. Names are in hello message.
Yeah.
We have one name here. We are giving each hello message a name.
Sure.
This is really important. And this is like the trend in every framework now. A lot of frameworks, for example, Angular, it was a two-directional framework before. So you can go up and down. Or you can go in two directions. But now it's only unidirectional. So most of the frameworks now are unidirectional frameworks. Cool. So let's say now we want a way to actually add names to to this array. So I want to create something, click a button and add the name. For example. Is this clear?
Yes.
So the way we do that in React, so if what I mean here is like I want to have some sort of information. If I will edit it, I will re-render again. I will show news. So if I will have an array with 2 items, I add 1 to it. So for example, if I will do this, I will say set timeout. You remember set timeout?
Yeah.
So after 3 seconds, I'll say console.log. Done. And I will say names to push. Or I don't like push, I like concat, honestly. It's the same as push.
Okay. So why do you like that?
Why I like that? Because concat doesn't edit the current array. It will return a new array with a modified version. So if I will have names, I will say const new names names.concat I would say test. So names will be still, if I will console.log here names, it will still be 2. But concat will give me another array that it's the old array with a new item. Why I like that? We will see, like, if you will, when you will get a lot of experience working with JavaScript and stuff, you will see exactly why I like. This is called immutability. So it's immutable, means like you cannot change the content of names. If you want to change the content of names, you create a new one like names, and you change it. Why? Because if you have really large programs and you try to start editing arrays, you will lose your mind. Like, why this is not? It's like it's changing over time. But if every time you create another copy and you edit it, you can have a clear flow. What's changing over time?
Oh, okay.
So now you don't see the benefit of that. But if you would work with larger application, you would see the benefit of that. It's called immutability. Of course, as I said, you cannot see the benefit now. It's the same concat. But with large programs, you would see clearly the. But concat is like push. But as I told you, it doesn't edit the array. So concat, and I will give it test. We concat something to names, but it's still not. Even if you use push, like. Even if we are pushing an item, but this is not changing.
Because it's already run.
Exactly. So we want a way, when we change the data, to re-render again.
Okay.
This is what we are trying to achieve. Because the problem now, we have static data. If we change it, we already render it.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's like you have a train, it's gone. The train is gone. You cannot reach it. But we want something that, we want a source of data, that if we will change it, React will understand that, oh, this changed it. I want to re-render again. And show the third name, and the fourth name, and the fifth name.
Yeah.
To do this, we use something called state. So it's like the state of the application, or the state of the component. So every component has a state. A state means like, it's like you, every person here has its own state. Maybe you are bored, maybe you are, I don't know, like sad, maybe you are happy. So you have a state inside yourself. And this state is changing over time. Maybe you will receive something really good or something really bad, and it will change your state. But it's something private to you. No one knows about it unless you communicate it. That's a different thing. But basically, no one knows about it because it's inside you, unless you communicate it, as we said. So state in React it behaves the same way. React component has its own state. We will see exactly. Just try to get the concept. We will see in code how we do it. But React component has a state inside it. And this state is just reserved to this component. It doesn't go outside unless the component will share it.
Yeah.
And if that anything changed in this state, React will re-render again and try to figure out what changed. So React will be continuously like observing the state. Did it change? Did it change? Did it change?
Can we set the time to where, how, like?
You can, for example,
Like,
let's imagine that this is state. If this is state and you say push, React will show a third thing here. Because React is smart and we will see that its own state is changed.
Yeah.
It's like you are sad, your state changed, you become happy, you smile.
Yeah.
So you behave according to what's inside. So React has a similar concept. There is a source of data that we will discuss, and that source of data is an array or an object. If you change it, React will know that it's changed. Not like this one. React doesn't know that this changed because it's just a random variable. But does it make sense what state, which problem his state is solving? You know what I mean? This is what I'm trying to communicate. It's like what state is solving. State is solving a problem that we want to agree with React that if something changed, React needs to be aware that that thing changed and we render. And we show the stuff on the screen. This is the purpose of state.
So how do we see the state?
We will see. We will see how we see. So, but this is a really, there is a famous misconception between state and props. So props is something to communicate between parent and child. The parent gives props to the child. State is something limited to the component itself, so we can communicate just in between the component. Make sense?
Yeah.
So let's try and declare state in this component.
There is hidden set timeout in this state, right?
No, there is no set timeout. We will see how we act.
Checking the is something.
No, we will see how React does that.
Okay.
We will see. There is a function that you need to call. after each update, and React will know.
Okay.
We will see. So we need to notify React every time we change stuff. It's a bit stupid, but it's better. We will see why. So to declare state, so as we said, we can have a constructor. You remember this dot props?
Yeah.
So this dot props is, we are not declaring this props. So if we are not declaring it, from where it's coming? Which is component. So component is setting this dot props for us. It's like the color and the name, piano. So we do the same thing here. Here we call super, because if you don't define a constructor, it's fine. But if you define it, you need to call super with the props. So the props that you get here, if you pass a props here to this component, it will get passed to this constructor, and this will report it to component, and we will have it after. Make sense? So we need to report the props. It doesn't really like make a lot of sense here, but this is something you need to get. Cool. This is just boilerplate. Every time we inherit something, we need to do this. We take the first argument, we put it there.
It doesn't make sense.
What? Just remember that we need to report to the parent component that we received something, which is props. It's like communicating to the parent. Hey parent, because when you call the constructor, that means you need to create a new app. This is what the constructor is for, when you create a new app. So when you create a new app, you call the parent component, which is component. I'm creating a new one, take this information. So it's a way to communicate and say like, I've been created something. So to create state, or to use state in React, you need to initialize it. Okay, you always need to initialize the state, even if you don't need it. In our example, we have an array. Okay, array of names. We need to put it inside the state, because we said if you want to edit the name, we want to re-render. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we say this dot state, and we give it an object. You don't give it a number or an array, you give it an object. And inside it you put whatever you like. So inside it you can say names. It's an empty array. Make sense?
Yes.
So we initialize and we tell React that we have a state. State is always an object. And inside it you put whatever you like. We're putting names here. Okay? So now what I want is I want to have a button, or not a button. We can just use the set timeout to do that. Okay? So we can say set timeout in the constructor, and say that I want to add test to the names. But names is not available. We don't have names variable anymore. The way we do it is like we say this dot state dot names. So to access the state, we say this dot state dot names, because we put it inside the state. So this dot state and names. Make sense? And we don't use push, as we told you, because we want to notify React that it was updated. So the way I do it is like I would say concat, and I will say const new names. Clear? I take the old names, I concat something to it. That will return a new array with this at the end. So here we have an empty array, so it will be just a test. Okay? So to tell React that I'm changing the state, you say this dot set state. You want to set the state. Make sense? And you give it the same object that you give it here. If you have, for example here key1 and key2, 2, let's say an example. Now we want to replace only names. We don't want to replace k and k1. We don't care about k and k1. We want to replace names. And the way we do it, we say just names, the key that we've put it here, it's equal to new names. Make sense? This is how we do it. Is it clear what I'm typing here? Okay. So we have this dot state. Is it clear? This dot state. I'm getting names from this dot state, which is an empty array. I will concat test to it. So I will add something to the array. It's empty, so it will be test. And the result will be here. So new names will be an array with only test. New names. This array. It's like pushing to the array. But instead of editing the array, we return a new one. Make sense?
Yeah.
So here we have an array with only one item, which is test. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna notify React and say, I have new values for you. And I will say this dot set state. Set state is coming from component. It's like work before. We get it from component. And we say set state, we give it the new values. So the new value of names is what? Is new names. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So it will replace.
It will replace names, but it will not replace key and key one. No. It only, if I will put key here, 5, it will replace names and key. So it will only replace what you mentioned here. Is this clear?
Yeah.
It will only replace what you mentioned here. Now we only have names. So it will only go and change names.
But then still, if you want to call names outside, will still be this dot state dot names,
Yeah.
not dot new names.
No. New names is just I can call this anything. It's about the key.
Yeah. Okay.
Even when I say set state, I say names equal to new names. You know what I mean? So I still keep the key names. This is just random variables. I can literally take all this and put it here. I can inline this here because it will return a new array. But it just for readability, I put it in a new variable.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we go with push,
Push doesn't return,
yes,
so we cannot inline it there.
yeah,
Yeah,
Push doesn't return.
push returns the length of the array, not the content of the array. So if you push to this, it will return 1, means the array contains 1. So push returns the length of the array. It doesn't return the content of the array. But yeah.
Concat does.
Concat doesn't change the array. Concat is like you give it an array,
Yeah.
it will clone the array,
Yeah. Okay.
throw the first array, add something to this array, and return it.
Okay.
and with the set state, it will check, it will re-render. What was it?
This will tell React, okay, data changed, re-render please.
Can you just refresh it now? So you can-
We will, but the only thing, we are not using names. We need to use it here. Now here we are still using the static names. So we don't want the static names here.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is heavy.
Okay?
Yeah.
So here, instead of saying names, we need to say this.state.names. And I will just put it here. Const names equal this.state. I can do the same thing. Remember destructuring? The same thing.
Yes.
Why don't you do it up in the structure?
Because I need it only here.
Okay.
I need it in the render.
You use it also of the.
Yeah, because I didn't want to change the code here to
Yeah.
be, I want the shortcut. But the other one, I need to write it, so I will write it even long. So you can see here, even if you will refresh, there is no names, no names, no names. After 3 seconds, there is hello test. And if we push here hello, this is clear. No names. After 3 seconds, we have hello. What? We don't need to refresh. React will refresh for us. So we only change data, and React will figure out what changed.
Can you add another name like? Yeah, that's need to go with click.
Yeah, we will go there.
Yeah.
We will go that part. We will have input. You type in it, and you add, and it will take it. We will.
Do we still need to use set timeout?
No.
This is just to show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Set timeout is an example here.
Okay.
Just mixing JavaScript.
Okay.
I think you should just go with the click add event listener.
Yeah, it depends on your requirements. Maybe you are waiting for the key on the input when you type. It's like,
Yeah.
up to you. That's JavaScript. We will see exactly, but that's JavaScript.
Okay.
React doesn't have anything to do with that. So you can see here we have hello names. This is just a warning. We will talk about it after. We don't care about it. But if we go here, yeah. So what I want to show is let's increase this to 6 seconds because I want to show something. Look when it will change. You say only these two divs changed.
Yes.
React will not re-render everything. Because, so this is like, now we can talk about how React works. What's happening? Why when we call set state, everything will re-render and we will show the correct data. It's sort of mysterious what's happening. So, as we discussed, React has this special thing here called state. It's not really special, just JavaScript object. When you edit it, you call set state. This will notify React that state changed. React will go and re-render the component that its state changed, which is this component called app. Okay? And print it again. But there is one missing thing here. React will not go and re-render everything. Well, React will do. It will re-render everything. But while re-rendering, React will compare it to the old version and only replace what changed, not everything. So if you have like a lot of messages and you only edit one message, React will render everything, compare the old messages with the new messages, figure out that only this message changed, and it will only replace that message. It will not replace everything. So that will make like really performant like applications. Because React is sort of smart to, and you can do other optimization, but this is the basic idea of React. Is this clear? This state thing and
I have one question.
Yeah.
Can you just go down? Very down. Very. Yeah. Here, where we used React DOM.render and then app, because normally this kind of smaller and greater brackets we use just for the when we are using HTML tags or something.
what do you mean this one?
Yeah, app. So, but app is a class. So why are we using these versus? for
This one?
Yeah.
It's like hello message. Hello message is a class.
Oh.
So if I want to render a class, rendering class is like rendering a div. How I render div?
Okay.
By putting it like this. How I render
So that means these brackets are for rendering.
for rendering.
Okay.
A class, not a
Yeah.
class,
Yeah.
and div, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
React will figure out, oh, this is a div. I already have it in the browser. Oh, this is... so for example, if I will put something here, if I will put up2 or up1, we say up1 is not defined.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Or hello message 1.
Yes.
Yeah, because we don't have names. 3 milliseconds. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
That these are referring to, it's just disappearing because it's a bug. We don't have a component, it will break.
Parent class, there is one array which called names.
This one?
Comment it, yes.
Yeah, it's commented.
If you want comment, please.
We will have a conflict because we have two variables named the same.
Okay.
I can name this name too.
So that's right. Okay. And then these two arrays should be same.
Now this is just dummy array. But now we are getting the arrays from React state.
I was thinking there's some names can take the parent and will render it if you add the some things to the child class.
I don't understand. Can you just repeat again? I didn't get you.
In the parent class,
Yeah.
there is one array, I mean, which includes the names.
This one, this array,
Yeah. No,
this array. It's inside the state. What? Yeah, but it's coming from here.
Okay. No.
This dot state, because we are saying this dot state dot names. So this is just a shorthand for this one.
That means whenever we create a component, we have to declare its own state inside.
If you need the state, for example, before we didn't need the state.
Yes.
If you want to just, if you have like a component called about you, and it has some text, there's no point to using the state. But if you have some dynamic data that is changing and you need to react to it and re-render, you will. Any questions? Usually we cover this part in 2 weeks. So seriously. No, honestly, last time I covered it in 2 weeks. So
Okay, then hold on here and then explain.
I'm explaining. Like this is why I'm asking. Like this is why I'm like asking. If you have any questions, just
More example, not
Just
Can I have this program in Slack so I can?
yeah. I will share it with you. Don't worry. I will have it here so we can open this editor with this code.
Just one question. Will we get trouble from putting the names array in the construction?
What I don't understand. What do you mean?
Like, we have the name inside the construction.
Yeah, because when the React component will be about to create it, because this is the creation phase. So here we know that React is creating this component because it's the constructor. So while React is creating the component, we create the state.
But I'm thinking, are we getting trouble from it?
What do you mean by trouble?
In some situations.
I don't think so. It's just here. It doesn't do anything. It's just an empty array. I don't think it will cause trouble in any sense.
If we want to use it in somewhere else,
What do you mean somewhere else?
I don't know.
Like in another component?
Maybe.
For example, I don't know if you've noticed this one, but name that it's inside hello message now, this hello Yunus,
Yeah.
it's coming from this component, from the app component.
Yeah.
It's coming from name. And name is an item in this array. I don't know if you saw the trick. Now we are passing state as a prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this clear?
Yeah.
No?
Can you just go down again to the app?
We are rendering these messages.
Yeah.
For the current time, we only have one.
Yes.
Because we concat only one.
Yeah.
So dot array, we will map show it and render hello messages. Okay? And give the name to the hello message. This name that is passed to hello message, from where it's coming?
It's coming from the state. where we
From the
put it.
state,
Yeah.
from this one.
And state is in the parent stuff.
So this is the parent app. It's passing state to this component. Throw props. So as we said, props is a communication channel between parent and child. We can put anything on it. Before we were putting a random variable, now we are putting state. It's like a pipe.
Yeah.
You can put anything you want in a pipe. You can like transport soda in a pipe. You can transport water in a pipe, beer in a pipe, as you like. Make sense?
Yes.
This because now we are kind of mixing state and props. Any questions? Is it clear? So far? Clear a bit?
so far.
So
Of course. We only care about now and the past. We don't care about the future.
Now it's here, right?
Yeah.
You need to transfer it to your
Yes.
fingertips.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Just can we talk about the homework?
Yeah, that's what.
Because we are always getting in trouble with it. If we just can talk about it ahead.
Yeah. We will use the homework from the old because this one is still we are constructing it.
This is a new one.
This is the new one, but no. Someone else was responsible for doing that. This is the way we used to teach it before. We like every time we do a meeting, and we just, for example, like last time we did a meeting about like restructuring React, because like as we are teaching, we discover new stuff, and we discovered that this doesn't work, and this is difficult, and this is outdated, and we should teach this instead of this. And also like students will share their feedback with us, and say that this was difficult. And so for example, other students, they are working with React, so they know exactly what was valuable for them and what wasn't. So I cannot just blindly keep teaching what I like. We need to every time like so for example this curriculum, the new one, was really influenced by the new students. So we always have a meeting and we discuss. Good. So it's simple. So you will use the tool called Create React App. A tool called Create React App. I will show you in a minute how to do that. It should be straightforward, but so you will go to npm create. So this is the getting started. So you will run this. So I will do it with you now. Well, you can do it with me as you like, up to you. So just go to a folder that you like or you want to put your projects in. I will go to desktop. And you will run npx, not npm, npx create React App. The command is here. You can I will just put it here. Just a second. So it's a command called npx create React App. Create React App is a package that create React apps for us, literally, as the package said. And we have after that you give it the name of your app. So you can say my app, my homework first one, I don't know, up to you. The way you like, you name it. But essentially you say npx create React App and your app name. So this is the way I do it. Test. No, not test. But week 1. Okay, this is how we name it, week 1, or name it as you like. So npx create React App week 1. I've put it in Slack. Just change your app name with your app name, and it will take some time. So this is a package by Facebook to create React App. So because if you want to create React App, you get into troubles of setting up Babel and Bubble and all this stuff, and Webpack and so many tools. This package is just, you install it, you create an app with it. Like now, you say create React App your app, and you can just go and code. You don't need to care about anything. Mine is done, or about yours? It's done too. Cool. This is to create your project. You know. So if you have you can create this and work on the project for 5 years.
Yeah, but
Every time you want a project, yeah, you run this. This is to scaffold or create a project.
I got an error that said like name can no longer contain capital letters because I said camel case.
Just go simple. Just go simple. Yeah, because so npx is like script runner. So usually you install a package with npm. After that you use the package. With npm because it's just npx is by npm. So npx will do two things at the same time. It will go get the package for you, run it, create the project, and forget about the package. So you don't need to install it locally. Is it clear? Because this create React app, this tool that we just discussed, create React app,
Yes.
you can say npm install create React app. You install it. Okay?
Yeah.
With npm. After that you can run it.
Yeah.
But with this npx will go and install it for you and run it for you in one line. I don't know if it's clear or not.
If with the npm install and then you run later again. Yeah. But with this you do two steps at once.
Yeah, it will go get it for you and run it. So instead of like bloating, if you have limited disk capacity or something, this will not install stuff and crap into your computer. Just create the project and forget about it. You don't need to keep React Create up in your computer and outdate it and update it. If it's outdated, it's like you forget about it. Every time you get a fresh one.
every time
You run npx, you get a fresh one. You can use npm. You can say npm install create React app, and after that create React app with week one. But that's we're trying to shortcut and not to think a lot about it. You know what I mean?
Put the link of the last homework because
So this,
we think we have
this link,
This one,
the homework link
this homework.
because we have access to only class 8 1.
I will share it. I will share this.
You share it or you are going to share it?
I will share it with you. I will put it in Slack in a while, in a moment. This thing. Are you all like?
Now we will create the script extension file.
But are you done with
Yeah,
creating?
yes, sorry, yes.
All of you?
Yes.
No, not all of them.
Not you?
You're waiting?
Internet. Is it the internet?
Maybe my computer is super fast. That's fine.
But you can still blame the internet. It's doing internet stuff.
Yeah, we just can start.
Yeah, of course. What about you? Still also the internet?
No, the first one I also used the tabs. So
Okay. So it's not because of the internet.
Oh, it got no rules for me.
okay, and we have
It got the no rules for me.
yeah, it's got not modules, and then
Yeah, we will discuss the folder structure. We will discuss the folder structure. For now, we.
Oh, there's paper.
So this will create a project for you. If I will type ls. No. It's called week one. Yeah. So you can see here week one. it created a folder for me called week 1. If I will open it in code, I will open week 1 in code. You can see here. Sorry. No. I will open week 1. You can see create React app created a project for me, literally a project. And you can see that there is yarn, there is readme, there is package.json, there is getignore, there is public. Public has a index.html. There is a source folder with a lot of JavaScript, not a lot, but
Why did you mention us this long time?
what?
If you have used this long time ago, would you know?
No, because you need to use it for like coding, like real projects. But for teaching purpose and stuff, we want to go simple. If we'll start with this and install an NPX, it's like we want to learn React or NPX or what. So now we are comfortable with React, so we can go and explore the tooling. It's like starting simple and going. Pardon. But you can actually, so the tool that I was using, Code Sandbox, you can download project like this. You can literally download that project, and you can upload this project to Code Sandbox, and have it in Code Sandbox. So Code Sandbox is just a wrapper around this tool. So are we good, all of us?
Yes.
You can see this folder structure.
Yeah.
Is it done? The engine. Okay. But is it fine if I will continue?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
So we have this folder structure that is created by Create React App, and we have public. Public, what matters here is like we have an HTML file. There's a lot of explanations and stuff. We don't care about that. But we have the div with ID root as we discussed before, remember? So it's the same one. Because our React app will run here, will boot up here. What's really important is the source folder. Okay? In the source folder we have so many things. Okay? I will advise you, it's just an advice, to delete everything except the index.css and index.js. There is index.js. There is always, like, you cannot go with JavaScript without index.js. You will die if you will not have index.js.
What's the difference between the index.js and app.js?
It's just names. But in this context, index.js is used to bootstrap the app, and app.js is a component called app. But from a technical perspective, no, it's just folder names.
Like you wanted to separate the code.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't have a... So I will delete everything except... So I've deleted everything except these two files. Not everything from in the source folder. Not everything. In the source folder, I've deleted everything except the... Okay? Is it good? So if you open index.js, there is a lot of noise here too. Did you delete all your stuff? So we will create before creating, I will delete here all the stuff. I will only keep these three lines: importing React, React DOM, and import this line. And I will create small component called app, like we did before. App extends. We say React.component because I can say a component if I will import it here, but it doesn't. It's like if you can import it here, and you don't need to use React. This is the idea, but it depends. Like it's
If it's only React after, then you have to call the dots.
yeah. Now we need to call the dot every time, because this is a class inside an object. So we say class inside object. Make sense? And we say render.
And I think it's ideal to put it after the
Depends. It's more of a it's a style, you know. Like it's I don't know.
And let's have
Usually you only type, you only have one component per file. It's not allowed. Well, it's allowed,
yeah, that's
but
what
a good practice is to only have one component per file. So it doesn't matter if you. So I will have an div and inside it an h3. Hello from week 1. So this is what I have in index.js.
Are you still recording?
Yeah. Okay, this is what I have in index.js.
Should we
Oh.
do anything?
You can do it as you like. If you are confident that you can do it home alone, just do it home alone. It's fine.
I'm just not sure what are you doing.
I'm just trying to like create just a small project with this that will show this. This is the idea. Because this will be like a project that you will use to create the homework and stuff. But up to you. So if I will say npm start, it will start the server for me. Okay? And npm start is already created by create react app. If you go to package.json, they created a start and everything for us. We only code. We don't need to do all the configuration. So npm start will start the project for me. Let's start it. You can type npm start in your inside the folder.
Can you return
To the code. Just a second. Did you by chance delete everything? No, you didn't. Okay. Can you have index.js in the resources? This seems correct. Are you inside? Are you inside? Let's see. Yeah. Can you say ls? Just type ls. Oh, it's inside. Yeah. cd your app. Yeah. Just create any component you like. Put a span in a div in a span. It's up to you. This is just an example. Why? It will. Are you inside the folder? Can you type ls? Where are you?
Yes, inside the attribute one.
But are you? Is there a package.json there and all this stuff?
Yes.
Interesting. Careful. Oh yeah, it's saying cannot resolve app. Cannot resolve app.
I deleted all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's working. You just didn't save.
Ah,
It just didn't save.
okay.
Easy,
Yeah.
It just didn't save.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it?
What is this?
I didn't save
Just
the
delete
file.
the service.
I just
Just-
wrote and
just
then I ran
move.
the service.
Did you do the npm
But
npm
you-
start?
Yeah, and put the app
Enter
before the
start.
React render, so you can
Right, so
find
you
it.
do and then here.
Before what?
And then you say
Like
npm start.
this app should be before React render. You know why?
I don't know.
Because
No,
it's
I
used
went
by.
to Asol because
No, no, no.
Yes.
Terminals here.
Did you
See? No, I'm just going to play this. Yeah, it's the same one.
Please, as I told you, you only keep sort of this content in your dot service worker dot in register and stuff. Just remove.
Okay.
So remove this one, and also we remove up here. Use the control plus.
Okay.
We go npm run,
npm run. Stop.
start.
What are the
Oh, here.
Keep only index.js and index.
Start from here.
And we are
And after that, clean up the JS,
And then-
index.js clean.
And there is this thing called from
and we are
What?
we are talking only on inside
The source. It's only inside the source.
we keep index.js
basic
and
And index.
3000 is basic one.
This is the only two files. that we need.
React.
For me, just 1,000.
No, I don't have React.
Do this one. So let's see what
Okay, we start.
Yes.
You need to actually. You have week one inside week one or what?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
you go inside.
Okay.
What?
Should I go to what? It will open the browser and
Yeah.
But it's supposed to open
No, what was
the
the
browser.
shortcut to
At least we will see here that the server is running.
No,
Hmm.
The server is still
what was the
loaded.
shortcut to align? I don't remember what was control for F.
Just a second.
Was it one? What was the shortcut to align the
Alt Shift F.
Alt Shift F?
Yes. What the fuck? Class extends value object is what? This is the longest term I've ever saw in my life. It's just like too long.
Can I take my computer?
No, you cannot. Yeah, of course you can. Just a- Because you are extending React. We said we extend React.component. You are extending the object that not extendable. React.component.
Here?
No, just where are you there?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You saved our lives today.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, now it should.
It's life cycle.
No, component with a capital C.
Yes, and yes, and use the indicator.
Can you try it?
In live server, it automates.
It refreshes automatically, yes.
Yeah,
Good.
but isn't it like I already have? Yes, but it's not.
You're opening.
We do mistakes in the class. If not for one small mistake, we'll spend.
Okay. And what was where do you use them server?
I think we've deleted all the sources.
Yes, the same. What is the live server? Live server, what is the
It will be like
That's
some
right. So you can easily create another one. You know what I mean? You can easily.
But it's.
Yeah, you can easily
Yeah,
create
it's
another one.
we
Keep
don't
just
need
index.
this. Yeah.
Keep only the index files.
Yeah, yeah.
Index.css, index.js. And keep all the files. Delete the import, delete the service
No, 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 no.
There's
Yes.
like comments.
Helps not to refresh every time.
Yes.
You can see here, for example.
What?
Oh, the
No, no, just
beautify.
delete
Did
the
you
up.
do that?
We don't need any
But what was the beautify?
I don't know.
It's like this,
Yeah.
no, this shift alt.
Can you go back?
Yeah, it's saying that
Go back.
Then what was that for?
Because you are using curly braces. You are not running an object to stop. You use parentheses. Because you are using.
Ah,
you
colors.
are using- you are using
Colors.
curly braces.
Yeah.
That's
Also-
works the same.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the
That's
first
good. Yes, this is insert C, this one.
It will refresh itself.
When you create an Angular first time, this also means the same. And it has a life cycle.
Why is it taking too much
Life
time?
cycle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I will explain the homework. But basically, so just to give you a hint, homework is just you will build a to-do list, but not a to-do list that is complex. You will just have a component called to-do list or app, and you will have another component called to-do item, and you have an array of to-dos, and you map over it and you render a list of to-dos. So we will create two components. One component called to-do item, and another component called app or to-do list or something. And the same I render it to the hello messages
Yes.
from an array. You will render to-dos.
Okay.
So it's nothing complex.
When are you posting the video?
Yeah.
Tonight?
I don't think tonight, no. I think tomorrow because I have fast internet from my workplace.
Tomorrow, okay. Sure.
So please share this link on the
I will now because you are leaving. So.